Today I messed up by ripping my nutsack open, requiring 13 stitches. Happened to me while I was in middle school. Back when I was playing basketball, we had practice super early in the morning before school started. After getting a good practice in, we had some time to get ready for the school day. Being the 13-year-old teenage boys we were, this time was spent primarily roughhousing and messing around before throwing on some clothes and dousing ourselves in Axe body spray before class. One day after practice, somebody threw a tennis ball and hit me directly in the face, filling me with rage. After a short chase around the locker room, we somehow ended up in the big stall in the bathroom. Threw him in a quick headlock and made him tap. All is good. My other teammates thought the whole situation was hilarious, and thought it would be even funnier to hold the stall door closed. Being the smaller dude the tennis ball thrower was, he just simply slid under the other stall door and made his escape. I couldn't do that. So I tried to jump over the top of the stall to see who was holding the door closed. Wrong move, Jack. Immediately fell to the ground and felt a very sharp, intense pain in my nether regions. Looked down and pulled back my shorts to see my pink balls outside of my scrotum. Freaking out. I told my coach what happened. I can still see his look of disbelief and shock mixed with hint of not surprised this happened to you look when I think about what happened that day. After walking to the other side of the school real slowly, holding my sack together so they don't fall out, I had to uncomfortably explain to the nurse what happened. And watched as her face shifted from shock to humor, then to acceptance as she tried to help me. Her solution was to pour hydrogen peroxide on my balls, put a big bandage on them and call my mom. Mom refused to take me to the emergency room as she didn't believe I needed stitches despite both the nurse and myself firmly disagreeing with her and took me to our family pediatrician. Had to explain to yet another person what happened just for him to take all of 1 second to decide that I needed to go to the emergency room after looking at them. Finally we begin our trip to the emergency room and explain to yet another group of people what had happened. Ever see one of those things they put birthing mothers in to hold their legs open? Had me in one of those giving my sack shots to numb the pain, it didn't. 13 stitches later, finally got it all back together. And thus began the several days of intense swelling and duck walking, followed by years of being called the one nut wonder too long. Didn't read. Becoming small town famous by trying to jump over a stall door and rip my nutsack open on the purse hanger. Requiring 13 stitches and years of name and tense name calling. Today I messed up by trying to surprise my sleeping boyfriend. Okay, some backstory to try and defend my apparent actions. I recently started a new job, which means I need to leave crazy early and my boyfriend and I are not getting too much time together. By the time he gets back from work, I'm usually too tired to be up for much, and when I get up he's still fast asleep. Because of this, we've got a little agreement where if I'm feeling up for it and he's still asleep, he's happy for me to get things started on him. Turns out he's okay with waking up at 5 a.m. when it's for early morning pussy. So last night, my boyfriend was partying pretty late, so he didn't want to disturb me. Quite a few times if he's out late he'll sleep downstairs rather than coming into bed and waking me up, considering I'll usually be up like an hour later. So I woke up at an ungodly hour as usual to an empty bed, then headed downstairs to surprise my boyfriend with some morning fun. It was still pitch black out, and I'm not cruel enough to turn the light on, so I was going off my limited night sight, but I could make out his figure splayed out on the sofa. Lucky for me he was just wearing shorts and was pitching a tent out of morning wood ready for me. I slipped in like a sexy ninja and untucked his meat through that little boxer hole. How handy are those? Now I'm pretty proud of my dick-sucking skills, so I went in straight for the hilt. As soon as I swallowed his pork sword, two things happened. I had the strange thought that my boyfriend's cock was a hell of a lot bigger than usual as it got stuck halfway into my mouth, and the person I thought was my boyfriend jumped up shouting, "Cock gobbler, what the hell are you doing?" So yeah, it turns out my boyfriend was sleeping in the other room, and he had invited his friend to sleep over without telling me. He came running in at the noise and luckily laughed off the explanation. I still can't look his friend in the eye, not that one, though. Too long. Didn't read. Tried to give my boyfriend a sleepy suck and got the wrong cock. Today I messed up and taught my 6-year-old a valuable lesson on fire safety. In Minecraft, thankfully. My 6-year-old loves Minecraft. After much pushing, his grandmother, with my brother's assistance, finally joined him on in a creative mode game. He's been looking forward to this for weeks, and even woke up at 6:30 buzzing about what he'd make with Grandma that day. Other kids are getting excited for Christmas, but hey, each to their own. As long as he's happy. The multiplayer Minecraft went really smooth. Together he and Grandma built a large wooden pirate ship. It had TNT-based cannons, far too many parrots, and even a skull on the sail. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed. When it was time for Grandma to leave to make supper, I reached to switch focus to Discord and hang up. Unfortunately, I caused a single click. And he had flint and steel selected. Facing a wall. Which lit on fire. Before I knew what was happening, the fire started to spread like, well, fire. We tried to put it out via clicking furiously and dumping water, but it spread aggressively fast. And then a TNT cannon exploded. And then his dog, that he apparently tamed at the beginning of the session. I didn't even know that was a thing, died in the explosion. We rebuilt the ship as best we could, but 3 days later and he'll still randomly go up to me and say, "Daddy, it's rude to kill people's dogs in Minecraft." While giving the most intense furrowed brow glare. Too long. Didn't read. Accidentally burned down my 6-year-old's Minecraft pirate ship and killed his virtual pet.